What is it that when you are maybe tired and have been listening actively for 2 years on a very wonky topic, what is it that keeps you inspired at your job to come back to the table every day and continue to work?
Well, we were talking before about how people bring each other back, and you called it a buddy system.
Right.
And I think that that's the thing that inspires me. You know, I might go through a lot of really depressing meetings where people don't get along, or they don't get it, or they're looking at the wrong things and wrong factors. And there will be someone that will come up with a new idea, or something clicks for them, and it's just like a tiny step forward. Or there's something going on with someone who's peripheral to the process where they're thinking really big picture. And just thinking about, the slow progress is sometimes what may be critical to maintaining your inspiration and moving forward. But I guess finding that one person who is there to inspire you, or is the buddy in that moment, is what it takes sometimes. And even sometimes when I don't want to have to look for that person, I don't, but lots of times they just come along.
Right.
So I think the buddy system is...
And searching out for that buddy, like you said,
Yeah,
not just
like
waiting
we're all
for
buddies.
it. Right. And then it can come from surprising places. Sometimes that is all the more powerful when you're like, oh, look at that. There's something that's changed. That is a great observation, and I like what you said about kind of remembering to look for that as well. Remembering to look for those small steps, and remembering to look for those people, even if the people change. Maybe it's not, you might not agree on everything, but you see that happen can be very powerful. So, okay, that's great.
I want to add one thing.
Oh, sure.
One of the most important buddies for me in my career was someone who is almost always an adversary. He's a law professor, and I had him as a professor, and he was great, but he lots of times works for people that are adversarial to environmental interests. But he also has provided interesting mentorship. So I think that he became an environmental attorney because he cares about the environment, but has ended up serving interests that sometimes don't have the good of the environment in mind. And when I was talking to him one time, we were talking about some of the biggest pollution issues. This is 2 years before the phosphorus rule. And he said, we're never ever going to pass a modification of the Clean Water Act. We're never going to pass an agricultural rule that really meaningfully limits agricultural runoff. What we have to find is that subtle shift in policy that fundamentally changes the dynamics. So it has to be something that can slide through in a rule or regulation, but that fundamentally changes the dynamics of how things work. And that was really critical in thinking about how to shape the phosphorus rule. So sometimes the buddy tells you something that at the time you have no idea what it means, but it can be really critical over the long term.
That's interesting. You're right. Like, you might not understand exactly what it means, or you might not even want to hear it, but it can change the way you are thinking about things in a really fundamental way. That is interesting, and I wonder how often the slightly adversarial buddy is the best buddy.
Yeah.
In a way, to kind of challenge things. Oh, that's a good story.